I'm Carolyn Holzman, and this is Confessions of an SEO. These episodes, one could say audio essays, will focus most of the time on the human side of SEO and marketing, and there may be a little bit of SEO principles from time to time. Welcome to episode 33 of Confessions of an SEO. It is September, and to get back to Austin, Texas, and see what just a little rain over the summer has made things look like at the end of August, I'm going to tell you, it is nothing short of miraculous. When I left, I had this little plant called a moonflower bush. If you don't know what that is, they bloom at night, and they are very fragrant, and they are big, huge white flowers. And technically, they're white angel trumpets. So to see this plant 3 months later, it looks like this magnificent bonsai tree with buds on the tip of every branch, and it's about to go in its second bloom. But as you know, I wasn't here for the first bloom. And you might be thinking, well, how do you know it's not the first bloom now? Well, the seed pods, they look like they came from outer space. All right, so now you know I'm back. I hope you enjoyed the blast from the past last week when I rebroadcast the only interview episode ever done on Confessions. And it was my conversation with Ted Kubitis about the parameter tool that Google retired in 2022. And I will speak more on this shortly and then share some super cool news. But today is here, and the core update continues. Or does it? I'm sure I'm not the only one that loves all these bell and whistle exchanges online. And some, based on a collection of sites they've been looking at for a long time, they see things. Well, let's just say they see three things. Either they are seeing big improvements, no improvement, or things got worse. And with all due respect, because I know firsthand when you commit to observing something, that's not nothing. Anyway, when I read all of this, I'm not really sure what the takeaway is meant to be from these types of publications or announcements. In other words, to quote a friend, what questions does that information answer? So let's see. One question, what is going on? Okay, so we know there are three types of results so far, and it says what the SERPs are doing, right? So it's either better, the same, or worse. So let's keep going. What other questions? All right, so someone is saying, well, my site is getting worse. What should I do? There's nothing in that black bag in those observations to help you. So spending a lot of time to look for it or beating yourself up, let's just put a pin in that. Then let's see another one. My site got better. I must be a patient site owner, and I showed Google they can't push us publishers around. Okay, well, see, that's not a question, but I do get your point. I think as an industry, and I may be in the minority, we need to be better at going beyond just describing what we see. Yes, we need to start there, but we mustn't, in my opinion, fool ourselves or mislead our followers by confusing observational data as useful information. To tell someone it's raining in downtown Austin, but not raining in Round Rock when they live in Georgetown, does that really help or provide the context for their experience? And those that may have read that limited weather report when their neighbor in Georgetown posts on social media asking them, is it raining? All they can offer is to repeat what they've heard. It's raining in Austin, but I have no idea about Georgetown. Sure, the person repeating what they heard gets a momentary boost for being of help. But was there any information in it? I can see now, through this framework, why we see all the conversations we do online. And in the spirit of showing and not telling, I would like to provide some context around this. First, we know that here, wait for it, helpful content is but one set of rules for Google's algorithm. It feels like Lord of the Rings, one rule to ring them all. Yes, I meant to say it that way because I put a W in front of ring but since it's pronounced the same way, you think I got it wrong. And let's look at the last great SERP reckoning, which was last September during the last great helpful content update that Google ran as an independent update, as a shoulder update. Since last March, they rolled it into the core set of rules. So from all of that, we know its importance cannot be denied. I've got questions. But before I get into that, I wanted to share with you, some of you know that I have used on a regular basis a product called Magic Mind. It's a mental performance shot that has a lot of benefits, not as a one-time deal, but the physical and mental benefits increase over time. If you were like me and looking for something to optimize for better performance, and I don't mean as like a bike rider or a marathon runner, but just, as somebody who spends a lot of time thinking, if we're going to be working in Google, of course, we need all the support we can get. Now, if you haven't found it, or if you found it locally, here in town, it's available. It's Whole Foods and Sprouts. But if you didn't know that it might be an option for you or might work for you, I can speak firsthand to the difference I feel if I'm using it, let's say, for a week, and then maybe, say due to traveling, I'm off it for a week. I use it for my mind and my focus. And it's much more convenient for me to use this one little shot that comes in a little bottle. It's super cute. It's more convenient for me than having all these bottles of supplements. Each ingredient has been subject to scientific study, and this is all available from Magic Mind. You can find it on their website. I just found this out. They also do good community work. For each bottle sold, a small portion goes to mental health charities that help homeless communities here in the U.S. You can do good for yourself and others all in one shot. Go to magicmind.com/SEO pod, like SEOPOD. And you can use the coupon SEOPod20. I'll put the link in the description. Okay. Yes, I was showing, not telling, by starting with the 3 reported experiences during this core update. If we know that helpful content is a set of rules for the SERPs, here are my questions that I would like some answers to. 1, why are we expecting not just this update, but every update for there to be the one thing where we can flip it and gain traction? 2, what are the reasons that we're seeing multiple outcomes? Those 3 things: better, worse, or staying the same. 3, is Google favoring the people who screamed bloody murder after last fall? Are they getting some sort of special treatment? Well, unless and until, as an industry, we recognize what the helpful content is, specifically how it is measured by software, none of what I'm about to say is going to make sense. Now, I know on the surface it may seem shameless to promote my analysis on the helpful content system, but over time, since I published, the theory continues to be proven by multiple modalities. The analysis does truly make sense of why there are 3 verifiable SERP responses to this update. So if we are looking for one reason, we will miss it. How can that be, you ask? It's an update. If things have changed, we'd see a consistent result in the SERPs, either consistent improvement or consistent worsening across all the board, but we wouldn't see both of them. And the people who are seeing worsening, this is what I'm speculating, people who are seeing worsening or no improvement at all, I think they get written off as being horrible SEOs. Now, if I had a whistle, this would be where I'd blow it and I'd tell everybody, get out of the pool. If we can at least be willing to suspend our hard, firm beliefs for a moment, let's just consider something, right? You don't have to commit to it. You don't have to, say, oh yeah, this is the answer. Okay, let's just simply back off and observe. Let's consider the possibilities that if we're seeing multiple responses to a core update that now has helpful content rules baked into it, doesn't it stand to reason that it is also possible to explain the various SERP responses, because there is more than one way to get an unhelpful tag courtesy of the helpful content classifier? All right? So if we're seeing multiple responses, multiple outcomes, then it's possible we could explain those outcomes because there's more than one way that unhelpful content tag was earned. If there's more than one way to get that lovely little tag, then if we make modifications to our content, it's possible that unhelpful tag could be eliminated because that content no longer earns that unhelpful tag. And if the changes were made without knowing precisely what the helpful content targets, it's unlikely that the success on that one site could be transferred to another site. If there's more than one way to earn it, then there has to be more than one way out of it. So while what happened for the sites that improved, that's a positive result. But without more understanding about why did that change cause a fix, accidental benefit, while great, is not repeatable. It's good for them, of course, but not for anyone else. What if all of this could be applied to various degrees? In other words, what if Google has a knob that they can turn something up or turn it down? They could, by turning it up, create more, or actually turning it down, let's say in this case, could create more room in a domain that was previously harmed by when they had it tuned way up. This tightening or this loosening, this happens as Google sees fit. That could explain why those sites where no changes were made are seeing an improvement. If this is true, then whatever that one is, that knob, let's say, it is something we have no control over. Get it? That reason for that particular negative reaction to the helpful content treatment is not influenced by what we do. I know it doesn't seem right, but yeah, it's like that's out of our hands. So that's the second thing. Now, the third thing is, and I have a fair amount of data for this one, is site information that shows Google is treating certain amounts of its content as duplicate content. I believe we are in a time of Google when duplicate content has the potential to take a page, pages, a whole site out of the SERPs. So enough of it on a single domain will kill that site. Now, I also wrote about this. I claim that the only plausible explanation for what I saw in multiple sites was the various degrees of that type of content, duplicate content, where Google had effectively broken its canonical attribution system. Google's ability to use the designated canonical tag in situations such as table of content links. You're not familiar with those. Those are the links. Like if you go to a page and they're at the top and it has it listed at the top, you click that link and bam, it jumps you right down the page. Those are called jump links. Now, these links are in the HTML code, and they're based on the URL of the same page. Now, I am hot on the trail of a plugin that might sort of relieve Google's ability to find those URLs. But if Google has found those jump links on your site, crawling them and indexing them, you are having trouble with those pages staying in the served index. They're likely popping in and out, and you don't know why. And you're making changes on that page, and it's not improving things. Now, if these links are on every page of your site and Google is finding them, even if you have the canonical set on your page, for a while now, it appears Google isn't attributing all that jump link, which should be attributed to the main page. It's creating its own separate, probably it creates its own separate protocol buffer, but there's some sort of thing that sort of strings it together like pearls to know that all of these protocol buffers, anything good, anything bad, is going to be attributed to that main page. The protocol buffers, see, these are documents that are the result once Google converts our content, our pictures, our text, our videos, everything into a format it can both understand and move around at very, very quick speeds. That's an engineering aspect to this. Now, I mentioned last week's rebroadcast. It was all about what may have been a premature retirement of that tool, that parameter tool, since data continues to demonstrate that Google might not be able to combine all those URLs into one data set for that page. So If all those jump links are no longer considered the same as the source page where those links live, that would be a classic case. You're going to have to put your parachute on, jump with me. That would be a classic case of multiple URLs all leading to the same content on the same domain, which is the definition of duplicate content. Not syndicated content, but duplicate content. Just imagine, how helpful would Google think all that duplicate content is? I believe many a site has found out the answer to that question the hard way. We have reached a point in Search Console data where the data that previously provided clues by showing these jump links within Search Console, they did not have zero data on them. They were getting clicks, and this was not as site links, but impressions caused by different sets of keywords. You could find them and see that there were some jump links that had some subset of those keywords, and others that did not. And you're only going to see that in the data. So they had different sets of keywords. They had CTR, the click-through data, and positions. According to Google, positions in search. I don't believe they were visible in the published index, but in the data that Google considered on the content, the ranking and the scoring of the content, they saw it. That data right now always has gone back 16 months. So you could have a dead site and not have any clue. Eventually, as every day that window shifts, one more day, we have one more day of data, we give up another day of data. It is very possible the day will come where you could have a dead site and not any clue as to what killed it, unless you were looking at the actual pages themselves and finding table of contents URLs or other URLs that use the pound sign in there. And now it's not just the pound sign. Yeah, I may have taken the long route, but those are the likely plausible ways to explain why there are reports of 3 different experiences during this core update. Changing content accidentally by sites, Google loosening the tolerances on topics, or being hit with one specific type of unhelpful content tag where you did not make any changes on that site. Oh, and let's go back to that improvement group. I know of several that have improved, several sites, many, after removing those table of content links that Google had previously found, crawled, and indexed. All of that work was done with deliberate consideration, and that was not improvement by accident. And they know it. Now I want to share some really cool information. First, a few of you may remember my first ever presentation at an SEO conference was about a site builder and what I saw about that site builder. And I want to tell you a little bit about another, but one that stands out to me so much, I'm going to start folding this into my testing. And that is the Wix Studio. This is Wix's new platform for those that build websites for others. And it has advanced design capabilities, yay, to making and creating and managing a website to make it efficient and intuitive. Like I said before, I'm really getting into it, and I want to praise the Wix SEO team for creating an on-site builder with the rare ability to provide information about the Google bots that are crawling that particular site. I have been talking a long time about server logs and what you can see in them. And frankly, a lot of site builders have fallen down on this, but not Wix. And I've been in touch and have had some detailed discussions about this feature where you can see all the different types of bots that could be coming. Now, based on what I've seen so far, they do offer what I would also say is the best-in-class SEO default. Now, I'm going to be adding Wix into the indexation testing. And meanwhile, I hope you'll take a look at Wix Studio to see more for yourself and see what they're doing. And now for the big, huge announcement. I haven't just been testing indexation. Well, I have, but it clearly leads to other things. And one of those things is my own indexer. It's taken a while, but I wanted to develop one that was based on the principles uncovered in this testing and research project. And as such, even after this is out, I'll be continuously testing to ensure that the latest sound practices are what the tool is built with. And it will work where people have accounts and can pay a monthly fee to be able to submit URLs. And these URLs can be on your own sites or URLs on other people's sites, aka backlinks. Now, creating an API for it will be part of a future phase, and when that happens, we'll be able to offer it to other software tools. This has been a long time in the making because my goal, I want it to be the best in the market, best as defined by sustainable and affordable. The launch sequence is going to be alpha, then beta, and then enrollment. And I'm giving those that are in the crawl or no crawl group that first access. So whether you have a paid account or a free account on the Substack group, you'll be the first to get in. I want to do this and grow this smartly. So I do hope to see you in there. You can either search for crawl or no crawl on Substack as a search phrase, or crawlornocrawl.substack.com. Well, that's it for me this week. If you need help with your site, you're not sure where to dig, text me. I'll say the number at the end. My specialty is forensic SEO. I come in after everything everyone can think of has already been done, and you've run out of options. To stay on the cutting edge of the state of indexing, check out Crawl or No Crawl on Substack. Next week, the 10th, is the third birthday of the project. Thank you for being a listener. If you have questions or topic ideas, I'd love to hear from you. You can text Confessions 512-222-3132. Thanks again, and until next week, I'll see you in the SERPs.